she's broken down, boys.
Whoa! Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of 0 to 60. This is an update on my 335, and I've got to tell you, since you've last seen it, it's been a bit of a roller coaster.
What's new in N54 world? It's expected, right?
Yeah, it left me on the side of the road again. However, it wasn't its fault, it was my fault. So where do we start with this story? Actually, firstly, I know you guys haven't had an update, and I'm really sorry about that, but David hasn't even been in the car yet. That's how rushed and crazy things have been this last month with moving businesses. From when you last saw it, the car, I was running E85 fuel on the BMS port injection flash and getting high pressure fuel pump dips. Really frustrating. The guys at BMS, look, they're super helpful, but the end result was they suggested going back to a lesser ethanol content and seeing how the car runs, which isn't what I wanted to do. I want to run full E85. So I got the RFP E85 custom tune on, and obviously the way that the fueling's done in the full E85 map, it works better. However, after about, can you remember when I said about it? It's probably a week, and we did two revisions, well, one revision with RFP from memory, and I'd been driving the car for about a week, and then, bam, got the high pressure fuel pump dip again. So it appears that what's in the RFP map hides the high pressure fuel pump problem for longer than what the BMS off-the-shelf map does. But I guess the long and short of it is there's something still wrong with the car. RFP had asked if I'd changed the EKP module, and I hadn't. I was still running on the original EKPM 2. So I bought an EKPM 3, fitted that to the car. Now I read on some of the forums that if you get one of those EKP modules that's come from another 335, you can plug it in and it'll work and you're good to go. So that's what I did. Actually, do you remember when I broke down? So basically, I put this EKP 3 module in, turned the car on, bam, 74 PSI. I've never had so much low pressure fuel pressure before. And I'm like, shit, awesome. My old EKP was the problem because normally it'll hover between sort of 60 and 66 PSI on the low pressure front. And I'm thinking maybe because I've got low pressure fuel pressure than I should have, that's throwing off the DME and confusing the high pressure fuel pump or something. I can't really get my head around how all this works. However, on that first drive, I've rolled out the driveway and I got about 5 minutes up the road and it is locked on to 73 or 74 PSI. Car's warmed up, rolling the power on, low pressure fuel pressure stayed above 73 PSI, and I've never ever had that before. I thought, sweet, everything's fixed. Turned the car off, I checked some data logs, then started driving back. Now on the drive back, I could hear something whining, and I'm like, well, that's a bit weird. It was like an ultrasonic type whine. Something's probably not right. And then bam, lost low pressure fuel pressure, and the car shut off again.
Well, she's broken down, boys. And one girl who watches the channel. The bloody EKP modules. It's got the new one there. I'm going to pop the EKPM 2 back in. Hopefully it gets us back.
I'm like, shit, what's going on? Turn the car on, I could watch low pressure fuel pressure come up and then it would dive off again. So something's not right with the low pressure system. And keep in mind, all I've changed is that EKP module. I still had the EKP2 here, so I got a lift back, picked up the old EKPM module. I can't remember what they're bloody called now. Picked up the old module, fitted that to the car, fired straight up, back to my original 60 to 66 PSI low pressure fuel pressure, drove back no problems. So it was like the EKPM 3 module wasn't working properly, but keep in mind I hadn't coded it. So I come back and I actually coded it correctly to the car, put it back in the car, fired the car up, and it worked again. However, I was only getting the 60 to 66 PSI-ish low fuel pressure. It will spike up to 70 on a pull, but idling around town, the new fuel pump module is working exactly like the old fuel pump module. So that wasn't the problem. And I've got one other thing I'm going to check or going to change, and if I can't work this out, I really don't know what I'm going to do. I think the only things I haven't changed are rear O2 sensors, so I've done the front ones, and the DME. Like nearly everything else in the fuel and ignition system has been changed.
I'm praying to God for you that it is just the O2 sensors.
Yeah, I've got the O2 sensors. I was going to fit them when I did the turbos, but I may as well put them in now and just make sure that I can actually maintain high pressure fuel pressure. There is no point putting those turbos in if I'm getting high pressure fuel pump dips because I'm going to damage something. Anyway guys, the car actually runs quite well 90% of the time, even on this E85 tune. It's a bit rapid, so let's take young David for a drive.
We'll go and check it out. And do you reckon it's going to get those dips today?
No.
No, sweet.
I'm just not going to drive it that hard.
Okay, cool.
There's going to be a gentle drive for you.
All right, so a gentle but still full E85.
Yep, let's go for a spin.
Let's do it.
Well, had it running before to get some temperature into it. These cold winters in Queensland certainly increase the warm-up time. I'm going to screen record the JB4 so you guys can keep an eye on fuel pressures. Come along for the ride. Should we go for a spin?
Let's do it.
Okay, so we've got the car set up in map 6 on the JB4 where it targets 20 psi from about 3,500 to I think about 5,000 RPM, maybe 5,500, I can't remember exactly. And then boost tapers off from 5,500. As you guys may know, the stock turbos will not hold
That sort of PSI at those RPMs.
No. This is the first day I've ran a heater, I think, in the car.
Yeah, and what is the ambient temp? 12.
It's around 12, although I've got a warning on the dash. I hope someone's turned the traction control off.
Oh no. 12 degrees, it should like that.
Yeah, no, I did wonder. So when I was doing the data logging and when I was driving around with this map on the first few times, because we were moving, I wasn't getting to the car until like 10, 11 o'clock at night. So that was some of the coldest temperatures I'd driven the car in. So I wonder if the colder temps do put more stress on the fuel system as well. Ooh. First has become a bit useless in this car.
This car has never done that before.
I think. Almost second. There's third. Just the speed that it breaks loose at is ridiculous. So if you guys have been following along, most of the videos on this car were done on Achilles ATR Sport rear tyres.
For a long time.
For a long time. And I switched to Michelin PS4S's thanks to JB from the Gold Coast. Geez, it was around the time when I started the port injection fitment. And to be fair, it sort of put the power down quite well, even with the open diff, until I went to this E85 tune. And first and second are pretty much useless.
It's never been really snappy like that ramped up like a traditional single turbo car.
Yes.
Where normally this thing is just super linear, comes in quite early, and it's vicious, don't get me wrong, but now it's aggressively snappy.
I'll try a bit of a second.
That, yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It doesn't handle like an M car, and since I've had this tune on, it's the first time I've really gone, I need to sort something out with the chassis on this, because before, even on the E60 off-the-shelf BMS Flash at 19 PSI, like, it was a quick car, but it was sort of okay. You didn't feel like it was too powerful for the chassis, where now it just feels like I'm going to have a crash.
Well, now it's a lot quicker than a 92 M3.
We'll do a bit of a stall up and a launch.
Yeah, see how she gets off from the dig, hey?
Let me off first, spool it up a bit.
Jesus.
Okay. It's all right.
Traction can be an issue.
Yeah, and I thought I'd do a launch there because this is like the best road surface on this whole trip.
It's also, when you were talking about the old Achilles tyres, it was like one wheel, whereas that was actually just
Two wheels.
stepping out, yeah.
It's definitely got a lot more mid-range torque. Definitely. But yeah, we got to sort out these high-pressure fuel pump dips. I haven't been watching the gauges while we've been on this drive, unfortunately. But...
Ooh. Corner.
That was opening up the diff. You really can't accelerate around the corner anymore. And you can short shift.
Yeah.
Does it feel much quicker?
It's pulling so hard.
I'm looking forward to getting this sorted so I can properly lean on it and do some proper performance tests.
I'm so surprised how much of a difference that has made. Just that new tune.
Well, yeah, look, I've never had a custom tune before. Declan's M2 with the E85 Flash he put on his car, same thing, like huge performance upgrade. So we'll try a second gear roll on. Spinning.
Jesus.
That's I mean about the floatiness. It really, it's
Yeah.
not confidence inspiring when you're accelerating at that speed.
Oh man, like all of a sudden, I think coilovers are more of a priority now because it wasn't slowing down then. It was just,
It's freight trains.
yeah.
I like it. Got to get it all sorted though. I'm also, and I know a lot of you guys have recommended it. I've been talking to Rod Sutphin, and as soon as I got the turbos on, we get the tune for that.
It feels, and the engine characteristics have changed completely. It's no longer, although it was very quick, it still felt sort of OEM, the way
Yes.
it pulled, whereas now it feels like a tuner car. And it's still got the stock turbos.
Do you want to have a drive?
Yeah.
Pull over and I'll let you take over, see what you think.
Okay, in auto it's still very drivable.
Something RFP has done is change the throttle mapping. On one of the first map he gave me, it was super, super touchy, the throttle response. And I don't like that. And with the JB4, I could see that like 10, 15% throttle was giving me 80 or 100%.
Right.
So he dulled the throttle mapping back in drive, but I think sports and manual still might be quite responsive. Not
Okay.
as aggressive as he'd originally done it, but it's all right. Just roll on at this speed. And boost comes in.
Yeah, right. That's effortless speed. That is so easy to go so fast.
The brake struggle.
Yeah,
just
it-
everything.
Like
just
straight away, the 335 doesn't feel ready for this power.
it's really highlighted even at this level, which is, this isn't properly finished, this hasn't had the final tune on it yet. It's really highlighted how I need to get the diff sorted, need to do something that should pull properly then.
Yeah, that's good. It's funny what you were talking about, the throttle mapping. It feels like that still comes into play. Like I've just been sort of
Left.
playing with the, rolling it onto different parts, different RPMs, and it's still, like,
It goes flat out, doesn't it?
yeah, it feels nuts. It makes it feel like a stupidly fast car because all of a sudden it just goes bam, and you've only moved your foot that much.
You been down this way yet?
Not properly, actually. Whoa! Far out. This car never used to do that, dude.
Oh,
That wasn't flat out either.
Yeah. It's just fucking spinning again.
That is changed this car a lot. That's impressive.
I'm pretty happy with how it's going at this point. It's just something's not right with the car. With the high pressure fuel pump. It is doing exactly what the old high pressure fuel pump did.
Yeah, it's good to see that it's still heading in the right direction. But yeah, I guess you gotta start with changing those O2 sensors, yeah.
Yes. So the plan is, guys, we've got to we've had that hoist for nearly 2 weeks now. Things are just snowballing out of control. We're trying to get things done with the business. And I'm still trying to crank out as many videos as I can. But today I've got someone coming to help us get the hoist installed. And the second I've got that hoist, this will be up on it. We'll get the O2 sensors swapped over, and hopefully in the next 3 or 4 days, I'll know if it's O2 sensors. If it's not O2 sensors, I'll probably start looking into changing the DME and get it upgraded to the MSD81. Because aside from that, like, everything in the car has been changed, and it's just acting strangely. So, still love the car. It's just testing. It's a little testing.
And ultimately, that's why it's been a little bit absent from the channel, because it's not sorted yet. And there hasn't been other than this style of update, there hasn't been a proper update to go up, really.
Yeah, well, I did that EKP module probably 2 weeks ago, and I thought, sweet, I'll be able to fit this, update the guys on what the hell's gone on, but that wasn't the case.
Straight back to normal.
Yeah, so just been... And I'm still daily driving it as well, but I do want to get the turbos. I paid for those turbos. I hate paying for things and not being able to use them. I want them on the car.
That's the plan.
All right, well, thank you very much for watching. I hope this wasn't too much of a long-winded video, but we will see you in the next one.
Cheers, guys.